Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a book unhaul. So these are books that I didn't necessarily love. I'm not going to say I don't recommend them because I do think there is a book out there for everyone and every book isn't going to be for you. But these are books that I just don't see myself rereading and don't want to take up space on my bookshelves. Let's get into it. It's only a small little stack that I have here this month. So some of these all of these I have talked about in videos recently, so if you don't want to repeat, bye. So the first one is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. This is a horror book, and the reason why I didn't vibe with this is because this whole time I'm like, what is happening here? And then I didn't get a full understanding of what this book was about until the afterword. Now, I hate being confused. Let me tell y'all. I'm a very logical person. I need to know what's going on. I think that afterward should have been a prologue to be like, this is what this book is diving into. This is what I'm doing with this book. Now, obviously the author can do with her book whatever she wants, but for me, it was a very confusing time, and I do think I would have enjoyed it more knowing ahead of time what this book was doing, so maybe on reread it would be better, but I am overall going to be unhauling it. But this is a good book for this time of year, transitioning into summer to fall, because it is spooky. As I said, it is a horror book, but we are at a lakeside town in Washington. Another thriller book, so perfect for September, with kind of our dark academia vibes, and that's Madam by Phoebe Wynn. Now this one, I didn't like the character work. It was so wishy-washy, and every chapter, I didn't know which version of Rose, our main character, we were going to get. She was either ice cold to the students because she is a teacher, or she had a strong savior complex. So it was either ice cold, not caring at all, or the other time being like, I gotta save everybody here, I gotta take down the system. Again, this book could have been executed completely differently. The character work was done completely differently. I do think this could ultimately be a very powerful story. I also did like how, if you're a fan of the classics like Rome, Greece, Egypt, mythology, then you might like this, because I did love how that was immersed into the story and how it reflected on the story and how the story reflected on it. I did really like that, but the character work was a no for me, and I'm definitely a character-driven person. This one is one that is Every Bone a Prayer by Ashley Blooms, and this is one that I had a really hard time reviewing because I do think, again, this is a powerful story. I think it's a beautiful tragedy. We see how children take trauma and how they handle it. Similar themes to The Last House on Needless Street, but just told in a different manner. This is magical realism taking place in Appalachia. But the writing, this was purple prose galore. It took forever. I'm like, we do not need 3 paragraphs describing the same thing. That is too much for me. Like, at first it started out very beautiful. I was like, I am so immersed into this holler, and then it just kept going and going and going. This book does not need to be as long as it is, but I do think it is overall a powerful story, a very moving story, and I think it's an important story to be told. Same with The Last House on Needless Street, but I just did not vibe with this writing style at all. Did not like this writing. Now we have King Nix by Kirsten Bacchus. This is a good November read because it's spooky, it's cold, but it's not a horror. There are vibes that something isn't right here, and it feels like it could go paranormal. It feels Uncanny Valley. You're very claustrophobic in this one. Now, what did I not like about it? The character work, again, there's a savior complex, and just the way the character went about it, how she went about things, was like, you are trying to get yourself into trouble. That was the same with Madam. But like, she didn't really seem to care about anybody else except her quest. It was tunnel vision, which I'm somebody, I can be the same way with tunnel vision, where I will be focused on one thing and not let everything else, mess with that. But I just did not like to read that. It was grinding my gears how she handled situations. And then with the main plot twist, you're really gonna have to suspend your disbelief because it's so out there, and I'm like, this is really how we're going to cultivate this story. This is really where this story went. just very out there, crazy. And I didn't realize this book was based on real historical figures, so that had me shocked that it went the places that it did. Lastly, we have a nonfiction book that is an essay collection, and that is Appalachian Reckoning, a region response to Hillbilly Elegy, edited by Anthony Harkins and Meredith McCarroll. This is a response, as it says, to Hillbilly Elegy, which was written by Vice President J.D. Vance, but before he was Vice President. I don't even know if he was in politics by the time this book was published. So I have not read Hillbilly Elegy. I've not seen the movie. So I can't say anything about the critique because these people could just be BSing, which, I mean, I don't think that they are, but I have not read Hillbilly Elegy, so reading a critique of it, I can't really say much about that. Also, I'm somebody who, my heritage, I have Appalachian heritage and everything, and it's somewhere that I do, I try to go a few times a year. So I'm somebody who has always, been around Appalachia and Appalachian culture. So I am familiar with what that culture and what that place is like. So a lot of this, I'm like, yeah, I have common sense. I understand that not everybody in a whole region that spans from like Alabama to Maine is not going to be the same. Like, not everybody's going to have the experience that J.D. Vance had. Everybody's going to have a different experience, and apparently J.D. Vance like generalizes the population of Appalachian in his book. And again, I'm somebody with common sense. I know not everybody's experience, just because you're from the same region, is going to be the same. It's a very diverse region. We're not all white people who are in his situation, because he did come from poverty, and not everybody in Appalachia is impoverished. No, it is the region in America that is the most impoverished, but I'm saying everybody just has a different experience. Everybody, yeah, so to me that is common sense, and that's what this book is trying to say, and I'm like, I get that. Why do you need to tell me that? Like, that's common sense. But I think if you're somebody not from Appalachia, and if you have read Hillbilly Elegy, then you will get a real kick out of this. Also, I fell for some false advertising because I thought this was just going to be a lot of people's different experience being Appalachian, or just an experience in Appalachia, and they were just telling their story to be like, our stories aren't like J.D. Vance's story. But no, there is some of that, but for the most part, this is a critique of Hillbilly Elegy. So those are all of the books that I am going to be unhauling out of the books that I have read in the past few months. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a leaf emoji in the comments below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye! If you are familiar with my videos, you're used to seeing Sherman at the end of them. Sadly, Sherman has since passed away, but I would still like to encourage you guys to help your local shelters. Sherman was at the Darlington County Humane Society in rural South Carolina. I always have their link down below in the description if you guys would like to help them, but also help your local shelters as well. You can do that by donating, sharing posts like this one, volunteering, fostering, and adopting, which it's great to do all of those things. Great to help your community, great to help the animals in your community, and I cannot recommend it enough. All of my pets were rescues. They were strays or from animal shelters, and I love them so much, and I know how much love they can give, so knowing these pets at the shelter can equally give that much love, it's amazing. And y'all should totally take part and help out those local animal shelter pets, and please help them.